In today's economy, with a highly volatile stock and mutual funds market, getting the desired return on your investment can be tough. That's why we want you to invest with the extremely profitable U.S. housing market. Our team of specialists make it possible for anyone to take advantage of this rare opportunity. By purchasing homes for 30 to 50% under market value, we are able to see growth of 24% or more annually. Call 1-800-975-6512 and have Intergenerational Income Corp put your money to work for you.
Welcome to REMIC TV. I'm Jasmine Bowen and this is What's Going On. Today on the show we have a very special guest, Mr. Ray Lawrence from IGIC, who will be talking about investing in the U.S. housing market. Ray has some great strategies, so if you're looking to make money in this new year, be sure to stick around. So Ray, could you perhaps tell me a little bit about your business first?
Well, I have been 40 years in the world of finances, and over the last 40 years, with all my expertise, I was not able to make a single mutual fund millionaire. Just in the last 3 or 4 years, since our company got involved with some partners who are in the real estate business, we've been able to make a few real estate millionaires. So I'm very, very motivated with the US housing market, which people can actually retire within 3 to 5 years if they play the game right, with the help of the bank's money and the team of specialists that we have in the USA.
So what exactly is going on with the US housing market right now?
Well, over the last 3 or 4 years, the banks made a big mess with the mortgage business. They got greedy, they overextended themselves, and people who shouldn't have had mortgages, they got mortgages. Today, those people cannot handle the mortgage, so the bank had to foreclose, take over the house. And since the banks are in the banking business, not in the housing business, every day they hold on to the house, they are losing money. So we have got a huge opportunity where our partners in the US buy houses from the banks at such ridiculously low prices, it almost makes the banks cry. But we do this because we want to make money for our clients. And within 90 to 120 days, we can make a profit on a house anywhere between $30,000 to $60,000 within 90 to 120 days.
But how do you do this? I mean, if the banks and the government can't even sell the houses, how can someone like you go in and do it within 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, you're right. In fact, the Bloomberg Business Weekly had an article in September saying that the banks and governments are stuck with millions of foreclosures. However, we have been fortunate to have a team of professionals in the States who know how to buy these properties before they go on the market. So we buy it in auctions before it goes on the market, and once it goes on the market, it's too late. That's when the consumer can buy it. So when we buy it lower than the market price, we can sell it within 90 days or 50 days for a profit of $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 for our clients. And many intelligent clients ask us, but if there's nobody buying properties, how can you sell them? Now, in every society, in any country, 95% of the population is not very smart when it comes to understanding money. For example, they buy stocks when the stock market is going up or when it is up. The time to buy it is when it is at a rock bottom. Now, only 3 to 5% of the population know how to buy stocks when it's rock bottom. Now, those are the same 3 or 5% of the population that look to buy properties when it's rock bottom like it is now. So that 3 to 5% of population, we have them in our back pocket.
And those are the people making money even in a rough economy.
Absolutely. As we speak today, when the economies are so weak, Greece is going bankrupt, Italy is almost bankrupt, the US government is struggling with its finances. The little man has no chance of succeeding with his finances. Yet, if you know where to look, you can become a millionaire. Right now, as I speak, every day there are millionaires being born.
So do you think it's more luck in this industry, or do you think there are specific strategies and formulas that you need to follow and anyone can do this?
Well, anyone can do it, but not by himself or herself. You have to use professionals if you want to make money. If you go as an amateur, you have some amateurs working for you, you can't make money. When Tiger Woods makes millions of dollars, not because he plays golf, he's a professional golfer. So the same thing in any business. You have to go with the professionals.
Right.
So we have the professionals in the US who over the last couple of years have sold over 300 properties. And now, going forward this year and next year, within the next 2 years, we're hoping to sell over 600,000, maybe 1 million of these homes to Canadian clients. We're also going abroad because people abroad have more money than Canadians and Americans who make a lot of money, but they also spend a lot of money. But there are other communities in India, South Africa, they've got the money, they love to invest it in foreign currency, especially if they can get US dollars, which is the strongest currency in the world.
It is, yes.
They love to see how they can participate in profits in the US housing market. So for those listening in other countries to this program, we welcome them to go into our website, which is www.igic.ca, or you may call in toll-free 1-800-975-6512, and you'll get a wealth of information.
So let's bring it back a little bit. One of the big differences between Canada and the US is we have a huge amount of taxes here that Americans necessarily don't have to pay. We are at 13% right now. Don't investors have to pay tax in the US on this?
That's a very good question, Jasmine. In fact, that's one of the reasons why many Canadians are afraid to go and buy and sell properties and make a profit in the US, because there's something called withholding taxes when they make a profit.
Okay.
And not only they have some withholding tax, but IRS expects them then to fill a tax return every year after they file that first return, even if it's zero income. And that's a big burden to anybody. So to avoid that and to make it easy for Canadians to participate in the US housing market, we have set up a company in the USA which handles all the buying, selling, making the profits, paying the taxes. And then that company is owned by our Canadian corporation, again here, Intergenerational Income Corporation. So the Canadians don't have to get involved with going to the US, looking for a house, getting into the legal issues of lawyers and salespeople and things like that. They can just come with their money here in Canada and take their profits here from our company within 90 to 120 days.
So it really just is straight investing. There's no physical work involved?
There's no work involved of looking for a property, negotiating it, buying it, refurbishing it, selling it. It's a lot of work involved.
Yes, there is.
You know? So with doing absolutely nothing, they could make on their money a return or growth of 20, 30%, sometimes even 40% in this very volatile stock market and mutual fund market. So many people who have got the money don't know where to turn. This is something they should look into.
In today's economy, with a highly volatile stock and mutual funds market, getting the desired return on your investment can be tough. That's why we want you to invest with the extremely profitable U.S. housing market. Our team of specialists make it possible for anyone to take advantage of this rare opportunity. By purchasing homes for 30 to 50% under market value, we are able to see growth of 24% or more annually. Call 1-800-975-6512 and have Intergenerational Income Corp put your money to work for you.
That all sounds very good on paper. It sounds very easy. You don't have to go with a real estate agent to look at the houses, but I'm sure there is some downsides. Some people can lose money in this. So what are some of the horror stories of somebody that's done this?
When you talk of buying property and the downside, look at the house you bought. What's the downside of that? Yeah, the bubble could burst.
Yes.
The markets could go down.
Right.
But the chance of that happening is slim or none. That's why every day people are buying houses and condos here in the city at full price. Now just imagine if you could buy a property at 70% discount.
Everyone likes a sale.
The chances of losing money on that is slim or none.
Okay.
Okay. There's no guarantees in anything. The only two things that are absolutely certain in life are debt and taxes. You know. Now, if you're looking for an investment, in my opinion, the safest, the most stable asset that you can own is an income property.
Right.
The operative word here is income property. Your house is not an income property. It's not an asset. It's a liability. You have all kinds of expenses, tax, insurance, repairs, upgrades, and not a penny income. If you own the neighbor's house, you have an asset. But I wouldn't suggest you buy the neighbor's house at 100% market price.
No, never.
When you can go and buy a house at 70% discount just south of the border.
Right.
And you do nothing in the process.
Right. So, all right, I'm a person who has some money. I'm looking to invest. How do I actually do this, right? Do I just call you up and hand you a check, or what happens?
Well, it's very rare that I find people have the money in their pocket.
Oh, okay.
Whether you make $20,000 a year or $200,000 a year, nobody has money in their pocket.
Okay.
We look for the money for them.
Really?
And the banks are a great place. In fact, the bank's business, the bank survives on lending money.
Okay.
Most people don't know how to use the bank's money. So we show them and we help them in getting the bank's money.
Right.
Just like they buy a house, principal residence with the bank's money. They take a mortgage.
Yes, we do it
And
here.
all the time, you know. So we say we can use the bank's money to buy these US discount properties and make money.
Right.
So if the bank charges us 4% and we make 24%, we made 20% with the bank's money.
There you go.
Okay, so there's no excuse to say, I don't have the money.
Right.
We find the money, we find the property, we sell the property, we make the profits and give it to you hassle-free in Canada every 90 days or 120 days.
So there's a lot of people in this economy that are in debt right now. Would you even be willing to work with someone with a bad credit rating or in debt?
Yeah, well, everyone can qualify if they have the right people helping them to be able to accomplish what we do.
Okay.
They just have to spend an hour of their time,
Right.
sit with a specialist, and that could be the best hour they ever spent. Because within 3 to 5 years, by using the US housing market, they could end up being able to retire. Hard to believe that in 3 to 5 years you could be financially free. And in time, we could even own for this client a building which gives them income for the rest of their life and that continues to their heirs. And that's why the company we have is named Intergenerational Income Corporation.
Right. So the name, right, reflects. Now, all right, I'm going to the bank. You're going to find the money for me, but how do I actually participate in this? Is it really as easy as just contacting you? What are the other steps involved?
Yeah, once we arrange for the money and we do what we need to do and we make the profits, you get 40% of the profits, we get 60% of the profits. And the 60% is for our partners in the States and Canada to do all the work. Now, having said that, this is one asset that if you don't make money, we don't make money.
So it's a straight percentage base.
Absolutely. So there's nothing to lose, everything to gain. When you buy stocks, you buy a mutual fund. The broker who sold you the funds, he makes money regardless whether the fund goes up or down.
Right.
And yet people buy mutual funds, they buy stocks.
It's true, they play that game.
Okay. This is the only time you can actually participate knowing for sure that you will make money because we are in the business to make money.
So you do it all for us.
Absolutely.
Is there, in your advice, you know the U.S. housing market very well now, in your advice, is there a specific place right now that you think would be good to buy in?
All across the United States,
All across.
there are millions and millions of homes on foreclosures. Florida,
Yes.
Arizona, North and South Carolina, Texas. I mean, there's no shortage of homes.
Okay.
There's only a shortage of good partners in the US that know what they're doing. So we spend months researching, finding out who the partners are, and structuring our companies in a way that you can participate without going through any of the hoops of buying properties in the USA.
Now, there's so many people out there who have seen the opportunity of the U.S. housing market and are trying to capitalize it. I think you touched on this a little bit before, but what really sets you apart from these other people who are trying to capitalize on this opportunity?
Well, I've seen so many good people going for seminars where they are taught how to participate in the U.S. housing market, how to buy and sell properties and make a profit. And then they are sold at the end of the program some tapes and books that they could go and study and learn. So they spend money with no guarantee of making money.
Right.
And again, I repeat, most of these people who take these courses are still amateurs.
Yes.
Remember I said amateurs don't get paid.
Yes.
It's only professionals that get paid.
Is true.
So very few people can really become a professional at this business. And we don't want them to give up their business, their job, their occupation, which they probably like very much, to get into this. So we'll use the specialists, we'll use the professionals who know what they're doing. And this will absolutely assure you of success without any stress.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background, perhaps? And you mentioned only using professionals. So what makes you a professional and expert in this level?
Okay, frankly, we are not professionals in the US housing market. Our team in the USA are professionals. They've been doing this for years.
And it's very important to use.
Very important. And like in Toronto, real estate agent from Brampton doesn't know the Richmond Hill market.
This is very true.
And the Richmond Hill agent doesn't know the Scarborough market.
Yes.
So in a small city, if you have specialists in each area,
Yes.
USA is a very big country. So the people who are smart in doing these things in Florida are not the same people that can do it in Vegas.
Yes.
And the same thing with people in Vegas, they can't do it in Texas.
Okay.
So we've got teams in different parts of the states.
Okay.
And we only work with the teams that we have.
Right.
So we don't go to any place and buy any property.
Okay. And you make sure that these people have the proper credentials and they're well trusted.
We have researched that because we are taking clients' money, the clients know us, and we are responsible. So to safeguard our credibility
Yes.
and our company, we have checked them out far more than any client would want to check them out.
There you go. Well, Ray, I think you have a very interesting product here. I think you've clearly researched, and I think that you have a great opportunity to offer people. Can you tell us how you would get in contact if we are interested in this opportunity? How do I contact you?
Well, we're already getting now calls to do workshops like we are doing in Toronto, to do them in Calgary and Vancouver and Ottawa.
Okay.
So soon we are going to be going to India and South Africa, maybe the Philippines soon. So we are looking for people who like what they hear through this program
Okay.
and call us, and we'll come out to your neck of the woods, to your city, and do the workshops there and introduce our whole process. And this will be at no cost to you or the consumers in the city. All you need to do is get into our website, register there on the web on the registration page, or call us in our toll-free number 1-800-975-6512.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Ray. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the viewers before we wrap up?
I'd like to wrap up by saying this is an opportunity that comes once in a generation. The last time there was an opportunity like this was before most of you were born. In the last Great Depression in the 30s, when the stock market had crashed and people were jumping out of the windows because billionaires went bankrupt.
Yes.
People were selling properties, selling what they had, and were running for shelter. At that time, only a very few people saw an opportunity,
Yes.
and they capitalized on that. One of those people was Joseph Kennedy, the great-grandfather of the present Kennedys. And he bought whatever people were selling at discount prices, and he realized that the depression will not last forever. Prices will go back to normal. He'll become rich when that happens. The man became wealthy, and that wealth trickled down to 4 generations.
Yes, things are going very well for
It's
the
not the
Kennedys.
present Kennedys that made the money.
No.
It's not the President JFK who made the money. It was his father who had a little foresight. Now, like I said, most people at the time did not take advantage of that opportunity. Today, it's no different. I know most of you viewing this program will not take advantage of the opportunity. But we're just looking for those few who will see the opportunity and come and learn more about it.
See the silver lining in the cloud that
Absolutely.
this won't last forever.
No, No,
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
you're very welcome.
Ray Lawrence has some great strategies on investing in the U.S. housing market. So if you're looking to make some money in this economy, definitely get in contact with Ray Lawrence at his company, IGIC. Check it out on the web. Give him a call. He's willing to come to your city and do seminars, tell you how to make money now. This recession won't last forever. I'm Jasmine Bowen, and you've been watching What's Going On.
In today's economy, with a highly volatile stock and mutual funds market, getting the desired return on your investment can be tough. That's why we want you to invest with the extremely profitable U.S. housing market. Our team of specialists make it possible for anyone to take advantage of this rare opportunity. By purchasing homes for 30 to 50% under market value, we are able to see growth of 24% or more annually. Call 1-800-975-6512 and have Intergenerational Income Corp put your money to work for you.